Before we get into this, I just want to say thank you. We just hit 100,000 subscribers somehow, which honestly still doesn't even feel real. I started this channel because I didn't want anyone else to go through what I went through. And when I made the ultimate guide to fat loss, I wanted to share everything I'd learned from years of screwing up. The binging, the constant restarts, and the mental battles that no one talks about. And to see that video blow up and this turn into a community of people who actually want to change their lives and do it the right way really means a lot. So seriously, thank you to everyone who's watched, everyone I've coached, and those of you who've commented or even just lurked around for a little bit and watched my stuff. You've been a part of this entire journey. So now let's talk about what it actually feels like to lose 100 pounds. So my peak weight was somewhere in the 250s, and then my first ever weigh-in was somewhere in the high 240s. And the reason for that was I didn't even weigh myself for the first couple weeks I was dieting because I just couldn't handle to see the number. I hated mirrors, I hated photos, and I'd avoid scales like they were booby traps. I knew I was big and I knew I needed to change, of course, but I didn't want that confirmation. I didn't want it to become real, in a sense. So the denial part is real. You just kind of drift through life, pretending it's not bad, until one day you've either had enough or something just kind of clicks. For me, that click was just being done, like truly done. I was so uncomfortable that the pain of staying the same far outweighed the pain of changing. And by this point, I'd already failed several previous weight loss attempts, but through those failures, I had a little bit of a better idea and kind of foundation of knowledge of where to start. But pretty much the plan was eat less and move more, and that was pretty much it. I went super extreme. Some days I would eat basically nothing. Other days I would binge like crazy at night. Also, real quick before we keep going, my full one-on-one coaching program is going to be open for another few weeks. I basically take my past 5 years of ups and all the other people I've helped through this, mash it all together, and then spit it out into a tailored program built around you. And if you're more of a do-it-yourself kind of person, my cookbook's coming soon too. It's packed with all the low-calorie, high-protein recipes I've been showing in my videos for like the past 2 years. So whether you want the full accountability or just the tools to get there, hopefully by the time this video is up, there's links for both of them down there. And through the years, I've tried keto, I've tried fasting, I've tried carnivore, pretty much all of it. And every time I'd lose 10, 20, 30 pounds, gain it all back, sometimes even more. If you add it all up, I've probably intentionally lost 200 plus pounds throughout my life because I've gone up and down and lost and gained weight so many times, which is honestly kind of crazy to think about. And depending on the intention going into it and just kind of where you're at, you know, there's a difference between bulking and cutting intentionally, doing it healthily, and just a straight up eating disorder. On this latter end of things, I would say it's pretty much one of the fastest ways to completely mentally deteriorate yourself. You start seeing food as good or bad, and you start thinking, if I mess up once, I might as well just eat literally everything. You can really go from feeling like on top of the world to a complete failure after just one meal. And it seriously gets exhausting. I mean, I would honestly say the mental aspect of this is by far harder than the physical part. When I really started rolling and making progress with my weight loss, I honestly felt really isolated. I stopped going out. I didn't want to be around people because social stuff pretty much always involved food, and I was terrified of messing up or falling off track. I'd just stay home, walk on the treadmill or go on walks outside, make pretty much the exact same meals every day, assuming I ate, and just scroll through like motivational transformation TikToks and watch fitness YouTube. And yeah, it got me results, but at the same time as that, I lost parts of my life too. There's this trade-off that no one really warns you about when you go into things this way, and that's seeing yourself improve physically, but kind of falling apart mentally for a little bit. Eventually, fast forward just a little bit, I lost 100 pounds, got down to the 150s after my senior year of high school, and I thought by this point I'd feel absolutely on top of the fucking world. But honestly, it didn't feel like that whatsoever. It was this kind of weird mix of pride and confusion. To be honest, I did look fairly close to how at the start of the diet, I'd kind of envisioned how I wanted to look. The two caveats to that were, first and foremost, my brain hadn't really caught up yet to my new body, so I still just viewed myself as fat as and had insane, and still do to some extent, have a little bit of body dysmorphia. And part two, I up in pretty much every way imaginable on the way down. Now, of course, the foundational principles like going to the gym, hitting the calorie deficit, and as much as I would love to say the cardio, I didn't really have a healthy relationship with cardio quite yet either. Basically, I still felt like the same guy I was at the 250 pound mark. I'd walk in a room expecting people to still look at me like they used to, even though they just didn't anymore. And now we get to the part that honestly surprised me more than anything, because I really did think this was bullshit until I finally did go and lose the weight. It turns out pretty privilege is fucking real. When you lose this much weight, people will treat you differently. Even to this day, I still notice it in the small things. People holding the door, cashiers actually smiling at me, front desk people calling me cutie or joking around or whatever. Just little stuff like that that had never happened before. And it's honestly kind of hard not to feel just a little bit sour about it. You realize the world is kind of superficial. I'm not mad about it, it's just true. It just kind of makes you go, dang, that sucks. People are nicer to you when they find you attractive, they listen more, and you get taken way more seriously. And when you experience both sides of it, it kind of changes how you see people. And for a while, it felt absolutely amazing. It was like for a month or two, compliments were like my new addiction. But after a while, especially as I started getting like a zillion fucking compliments and comments a day from social media, to some extent, I would say it is kind of this trap with weight loss where you can sort of switch from obsessing over the food to obsessing over the validation you're now getting from this attention you weren't getting before. But after a while, I kind of found myself getting desensitized to all the attention and all the compliments I was getting, and it sort of just evened me out socially. It almost led to me viewing everything from this super objective sort of perspective when it comes to this superficial aspect of socializing. It's like by me giving so much of a shit for so long about what I looked like, judging other people, being pissed that I was fat, being pissed at people for making fun of me, then experiencing the exact opposite for so long and getting so much of that, it sort of just made me like stop caring about both sides, which at times is honestly a little bit bleak, but it's also honestly pretty freeing. Another thing people don't expect with weight loss is just how lonely it really can be. You outgrow people. Sometimes your priorities in life can completely change around it or even as a result of the whole process. Some people will actually end up resenting you for the progress you make. Other people might just not even understand it at all. And then there's dating, which is a whole different thing. People who never even noticed you before or maybe even like blocked you or some in the past, now all of a sudden might be sliding into your DMs. And you really realize how different the world feels when other people just like how you look. Sure, it's flattering, but it's also kind of sad because deep down you know they wouldn't have looked at you twice before. Which is also where I kind of learned that losing weight won't automatically fix your confidence. It certainly, without a shadow of a doubt, vastly improved it, but it doesn't just completely erase the problem. It kind of just changes what you're insecure about. I think the real turning point mentally came for me when I stopped trying to focus so much on the diet and I started trying to build a sustainable lifestyle, which sounds corny as fuck. I remember watching weight loss videos thinking to myself, just tell me the diet that's going to get me to lose the weight. I don't care what happens after. And then the after part comes and you're like, I'm hungry. Someone get me 4 Domino's pizzas, obviously throw the lava cake in there. And oh, you know those cosmic brownies that have been sitting in the pantry for 3 months? Say hello to Papa. You can't starve forever. I realized the key is really just to eat the foods that you want to eat. Whatever your natural food preferences are, just smarter alternatives or prepared or cooked at home in a way that's not caloric sludge just going through your body. Making high protein versions of stuff, tracking portions, cooking stuff I enjoy. I still have sweets, I still have pizza, I still eat out, I just balance it. And for me, that's pretty much what fixed my relationship with food. When you eat what you love every day, there's no such thing as cheat meals. You just eat what you want. Some days it happens to just put me in 1,000 to 1,500 calorie deficit. Other days, maybe I do go like 1,000 to 1,500 calories over. Whatever. Of course, if I have something specific that I'm trying to diet down to a specific weight for, yeah, all of those days for like 2 or 3 months are probably just gonna happen to put me in like a 500 to 1,500 calorie deficit, or at least most of them. There's no more all or nothing, you just live. And that's how this kind of transitioned from a temporary cut where I was eating like a protein bar a day some days to an actual lifestyle. No binging, no guilt, just structure and understanding to a T how nutrition works. So what does it feel like now? Physically, it's honestly pretty amazing. I feel lighter. I can go upstairs without my ass cheeks clapping together or breathing like Puff the Magic fucking Dragon. I'm stronger and more confident, but mentally it's honestly a little bit complicated. You gain confidence, but you also carry some scars. You never forget what it feels like to be 250 pounds. Some days I still catch myself checking my body autistically or second guessing my progress even though I'm way leaner now and I have literally a completely different body. This is probably the most crucial mental side no one tells you about, and that is the way your body changes way faster than your mind does. You have to spend like an extra 2 or 3 months sitting at whatever your new weight is or like whatever level of progress you're making to actually have your brain adapt to this kind of being your new body. But over time you kind of find find peace with it, and you start to realize you don't really need to prove anything to anyone except yourself. You're just living better, moving better, and feeling like you. The best part isn't the abs or the compliments or benching 225 or attention from some shallow ass girl on Instagram or Snapchat or something. It's waking up and not fucking hating yourself. Looking back, I honestly don't even really see it as losing weight. I see it as just unlearning everything that made me hate food and hate my body, hate myself in the first place. So losing the 100 pounds didn't like fix me. It just gave me the space I needed and the experience to start kind of fixing myself. It forced me to face discipline, patience, because there's no rushing this stuff, insecurity, and control. Not just my body, but how I approach work, relationships, even how I treat other people. So yeah, of course it feels good, but again, it's heavy sometimes. Literally. When you completely rebuild yourself, you kind of just realize how broken and up you really were. So yeah, that's what it actually feels like to lose 100 pounds for the most part. I can't like download it to your brain on some cyberpunk shit, but I did my best. It's not linear, it's not perfect, but it's fucking worth it. If you're watching this and you're still stuck in that same loop I was, binging, restarting, giving up, I promise you it's possible. You just have to stop trying to suffer your way there. You need a system that lets you eat, enjoy life, and still make progress. Coaching and cookbook below if you want my way of doing things. Hopefully they're both there. But even if you never pick up either of those, just know it's not about losing weight fast. It's about never having to start over again. Even if I did go all the way back up to 250, it wouldn't be the same 250. Yeah, I'd be fat, but I'd probably feel way better about myself and still have all the muscle mass I spent the past 5 years building. So thanks again for 100K guys. Seriously, I couldn't have done any of this without you. Keep moving forward. And you'll look back one day and realize that you've built something that no one can take away from you.